So I want to bring you on and figure out a few things. Obviously, we should just jump right in with what have you been up to? What have you been doing to keep yourself busy? You know, Call of Duty came out. You been on that at all?
A little bit, on and off. I got some buddies that play it, so I try to keep up.
Yeah. What's your take on everything that's happening? Like with coronavirus and NBA being shut down?
It's been wild. I mean, literally a week ago, I was playing the Bulls in Chicago, and so it just seems like it happened so quick. Literally, I feel like I've been in my house for a week, and I feel like I've been in here for about 3 months already.
Right. I know Ohio was one of the first ones to start a lockdown. What's that been like just around the city? Has it been scary for everybody? Has it been just work as usual for people, or?
Yeah, it's just dead. I mean, it's just completely dead around here. You go out on the street, there's nobody really driving. You drive past the grocery store, the mall. I mean, the grocery store is actually pretty popular, but the mall,
Yeah.
there's nobody there. Stores, there's nobody there. Our governor shut down. I want to say this past Sunday, he shut down stores. Everything's closed. Stores, restaurants, bars. We are locked down here.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. Dude, I'm gonna have to take a pause for a second. This is the most ridiculous thing. You got to meet my dog too.
Okay.
But Griff's down here
Hey,
with
there we go.
possibly worst case scenario of what he could have found. Drop it, buddy. Drop it, buddy. Hey, can you drop? Did you drop? Got my grandpa's old fishing knife.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Yeah.
probably not great. Not the best idea.
Here. Here. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to shoot this dang podcast with a 14-week-old puppy. It's been an adventure. This is Griffey.
I would have to imagine it's been Griffey. Named after the prettiest swing in baseball.
That's right. It's cool. First week I got him.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a mini Aussie Doodle.
Mini Aussie Doodle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A mini.
Yeah.
Because we have an Aussie Doodle, but it's like a bigger one.
Right. Yeah, he's supposed to max out at 15 pounds, but he's at 10 now.
Really?
That's
Adorable.
Yeah. But no, man, if you were to set this up, this whole situation, what would you be thinking that players should be looking at right now, should be involved in? Should they just be spending time with family? Should they be taking advantage of it business-wise? Is there no answer to it?
Man, I think there's really, right now it's just so unprecedented. There's no real answer to it, at least in my opinion. A lot of guys are taking advantage of it from a fan perspective. Trying to interact other ways via Instagram, Twitter, gaming. Kind of whatever they can do to keep interaction going. And for me, I'm very fortunate. I live in Cleveland. I grew up in Cleveland, so my family's here, and so I've actually been just kind of spending family time.
Mm-hmm.
If one of us has it, we all have it, because we just been hanging out together. And
Right.
And last night my dad was over playing pool. My mom was watching TV. We're just all the Nances are just kind of taking this time to kind of catch back up.
Right.
Which is great.
That's cool, man. So is your whole, do you have aunts and uncles?
Yeah, so yes, I have, my dad's side of the family is from South Carolina and still in South Carolina. And then my mom's side of the family is kind of scattered all over the place. One's in Phoenix, one's in Chicago, one's in Memphis, they're everywhere. So, but my immediate family, mom, dad, sister, brother, we are all here right now.
Right. So I want to step,
of course.
Yeah. So I want to step back now. I definitely want to make sure that we kind of cover a little bit of coronavirus, but I want to hear your story. I know you grew up in the NBA,
Right.
Your dad was a legend in Cleveland and legend in basketball. But when did you figure out that you had a similar passion to basketball?
So for me, I've got kind of a unique story. It obviously, yeah, like you said, I grew up, kind of knowing my dad was the man around here. We'd go out to a restaurant and people would, oh my gosh, Mr. Nance, can I get your autograph? Can I get a picture? And all this stuff. And like, to me, whatever, that's just like, why do you want to take a picture with my dad? Like,
Yeah.
it was no big deal, but, he, I obviously knew he played basketball. I liked basketball growing up, but, it never really interested me that much. I was a big soccer player. I played a couple years of baseball, ran some track.
Okay.
I was just being a kid, just getting to experience what my friends were doing.
Okay.
And then around late middle school, so 8th grade, freshman year, sophomore year of high school, I got sick. I got sick and was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And so, that kind of shaped my life from that point on. Getting diagnosed with that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, because it then allowed me to treat it and feel like a normal kid again.
Yeah.
Again, and for the first time. So we got it treated. We're here at the Cleveland Clinic, they've been awesome, which was still treating me for it.
Let me take a time out real quick. We need to figure this thing out. I'm going to get him a treat.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if you've noticed, but this is Griffey's podcast, not mine.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely noticed. I mean, he's the star here. That's
right.
That's who I came to see, actually.
Can't even get mad.
He's too cute.
Oh man, it's funny because like the first time that I did, a few days ago, I shot this little documentary with Chase Arnott, and he just slept the whole time, didn't move for an hour and a half, nothing.
Right.
Just stayed in this room. Then I shot a podcast 2 days ago and just nonstop, just barking at the door and whining and.
Yeah,
So
but like you said, you can't get mad at him.
No.
So you look at him, it's just like, oh,
That's true. I've just accepted that he's probably going to be more interesting than either of us at the end of the day for people. So,
100%.
but no, man, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But
Oh, you're good.
so you're talking about that you've been diagnosed with Crohn's. It's a good thing for you to have figured that out so that you can start having a normal childhood again and start feeling good,
Right.
But did you get to a point after you'd been diagnosed to where things did get rough again?
Yeah, so I got diagnosed as a sophomore in high school, and things were terrific for 2.5 years. I made it through high school and got recruited to college and went out to Wyoming. And then my first year at Wyoming, and with a little bit of background with Crohn's disease, there are foods you really can't and can't have. And so it's a very individualized thing. So some people can eat peanut butter. I can't. And so some people can eat popcorn. I can't. And, it's just a very individualized disease. And so whatever works for you. And, for me, I was able to eat popcorn up to a certain point. My freshman year of college, me and my roommate went to go see, I don't even know what movie it was, but one of the new Hunger Games movies, right? I don't know which one, but one of the Hunger Games movies at our local movie theater, and I had a big bag of popcorn. I could not have popcorn anymore at that point. And so for me, that wiped me out pretty good. I mean, within a 2-week span, I lost about 25 pounds. Had to miss 2-ish, which in college it's nice because in 2 weeks you only play 3-4 games. So I only missed 2.5-ish games. Tried to play one, couldn't really get through it. So 2.5 games before I could, before I was back to feeling remotely normal. And so that's when I realized I couldn't have popcorn.
Right.
And from that point on, I pretty much decided that, like, hey, if there's any foods that any Crohn's patients are saying that they can't have, I should probably just avoid all of them. So right now, I don't know if I can have peanuts or not. I have no idea. Walnuts, I don't know. Same, like any kind of nut, I have no idea, just because I don't even want it. It's not worth it to try.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely it got bad, my freshman year. But after that, knock on wood, everything, it's been pretty much smooth sailing, and I'm very proud at this point to be kind of a spokesperson and advocate and kind of the face of this thing. So like I said, getting diagnosed is probably the best thing that's ever happened.
Wow. Could you describe to people that don't know what Crohn's disease is, what it is?
Right. So Crohn's disease is it's a IBD. It's irritable bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome. It's same thing. It's an autoimmune disease that's located throughout your gastrointestinal tract, digestive tract. So like Crohn's is goes in through your mouth, wherever your food goes, in through your mouth to where it exits. Then there's ulcerative colitis, which is just located in your intestines. So I've got Crohn's, the highest form of the UC, and it basically just your body fighting against itself and all it does is it just keeps eating your digestive tract away, forming these ulcers, and which are extremely painful, take a lot of energy out of you. They're brutal if you don't have this thing in remission, and they can form like I said, anywhere from your mouth to where it exits. And before I was diagnosed, I had them all. I was chock full of ulcers. Couldn't really eat too much because it hurt too much. The food going down, and that's what kind of Crohn patients deal with. And the medication for me, fortunately, has completely wiped those out. I'm, like I said, in remission, so I don't really have to deal with too much, except I have these 3-hour infusions every 6.5 weeks that I've got to go to the Cleveland Clinic, sit there, and get my like IV drip for 3 hours, and then I take some pills every week, and that's my secret formula.
Right. So we connected basically over Crohn's,
right?
And I think this is a good opportunity to bring up your relationship with Noah and the Athletes versus Crohn's and what you're doing with it.
Right. Before we start, you had to give your dog a shameless plug. It's time.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle, come here.
And you named him after me.
I know he's giving you a good view. There he is. Right. Yes, I named him after you. Yeah, that's man. Kyle. That's my. Yeah.
What kind of dog is that?
Good guy. He's a Husky Shepherd.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
That's a pretty red.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude. He just, like, especially in the wintertime in Ohio, he just goes outside. We'll let him out, and he just won't come in for hours. Wants nothing to do with it. Just sits out there in the cold. He's a true Husky.
That's awesome. How old is he?
He's almost 4, about 3 and 3/4 right now. So he's doing good. He's our middle dog. We have an older one. We have a 4-year-old Reggie, who's a total mutt, German Shepherd mutt.
Okay.
And then we just got, who I think she's about to come visit us. Here's Reggie. And then we just got the Australian Doodle this past summer. So she's 1.5, and together they are a lot of work.
The Aussie Doodle just roamed onto your property, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just kind of popped up. Like we tried to find someone to, but she ended up being ours, and so she's great. That's Ellie. Yeah.
That's a bee.
Yeah, she's the best though. We love her. My wife needed a girl dog anyway.
There you go. Awesome.
But back to Crohn's. So I had my senior year of high school and my rookie year of the NBA. I kind of came out with a story of like, hey, I'm Larry Nance. I'm in the NBA playing with this disease, and just kind of goes to show that like, hey, anybody that has this, you can, whatever it is, you can. I don't, it doesn't matter if it's you want to play in the NBA, you want to. It doesn't matter what it is, you can. And so, kind of put that article out there, and just kind of hoping to, inspire somebody. And I got a direct message on Instagram from this kid Noah Weber. Never heard of him, didn't know him. Just this random kid just sent me a message on my Instagram, just like, hey, just got diagnosed with Crohn's. Read your article. So great that you put your story out there. You're an inspiration to me, and all that stuff. It was great. And so I wrote him back and was like, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. He said he's from New York. So I said, hey, we're going to play the Nets coming up this month. I can leave 2 tickets. I can leave some tickets for you and your dad, and you can come to the game. And I'd love to see you afterwards, meet you, and we can exchange some stories. Great. And so we played the game, and met up with him afterwards. Him and his dad, who his dad just happens to be it's crazy. His dad is a general surgeon, so he operates on Crohn's patients all the time. And his son just so ended up having it. So his dad being a general surgeon and at a huge hospital in New York. I kind of told these two very big sports fans, like, yeah, definitely some that I want to be more involved in. I don't know whether it's through the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation or whatever it is. I definitely just want to be. I want to be more involved and more active in the Crohn's community. And so they kind of took that and were like, we got a pretty cool opportunity here. They kind of took that and ran with it. And we played the Knicks, so the next New York team, in like 2 weeks or something. And so the next time I came back, I met up with them again, and they kind of pitched this idea of like, hey, look, for me with my story, I've got a story that a few people want to hear. And Noah, who's had the total opposite story of me, he's been on this drug, the drug I take, Remicade, he's been on Humira, he's been on all these different drugs, he's had surgery, and then now he finally found he's on this drug called Stelara after 4 or 5 years of battling it, and now he's in remission after 7 different drugs tried and a surgery. So between the two of us, we cover just about the broad spectrum of what you could possibly be dealing with Crohn's disease. And his dad being, the chief of surgery, right, as a general surgeon, like that's a pretty cool, grouping of 3. And so, we kind of, they kind of hatched this idea to me of like, hey, maybe we could do something together. And I loved it. We exchanged information and all that stuff, and just have, we're just in contact, and I met their family, of course. And we've just been, doing great things ever since. We founded Athletes vs. Crohn's together, and we do scholarships, we do mentorship programs, we do, these special experiences for these kids that are going through hard times. I have programs at just about every one of my games at home and every game on the road where, we find a patient and their parents to bring to the games and sit courtside and talk to me before the game, and just so we can share stories, and so they can just kind of see that, hey, look, whatever time you're going through, rough time, good time, like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is health, and again, back to that same message of whatever you want to do, you can. Like, the NBA is a cutthroat league. It's really hard to make it into the league, and you can.
Right.
It's just trying to preach that message of this disease can't hold you back from anything, and you're capable of whatever you allow yourself to be capable of. And so that's kind of what the foundation is all about, and I'm extremely proud of it. Noah's extremely proud of it. Corey, his dad, is extremely proud of it. And now my whole family and their whole family is extremely proud of it. So we're continuing to grow. We've already raised over $500,000 and done just countless good things with it. We're funding research in New York and in Cleveland, and hopefully a cure is in sight.
That's incredible, man. Well done. No, how do you think the other guys? So I've been seeing like the Cavs have been sharing pregame, like check unveilings and stuff like that. And it's amazing because it educates the crowd. It really gives you an opportunity to show off something that you're really passionate about. How could other players be able to figure out something that they can connect with in that way and leverage their celebrity right now, their platform that they've got to do something that can give them that impact?
It's just kind of whatever you're passionate about. It could be, for me, it was Crohn's disease. For Kevin Love, it was mental health. For Jetty Osman, it was his home country of Turkey. It's everybody has a story. Your story is unique to your story is unique to you, but not everything you've gone through is unique to you.
Right.
Somebody else is going through that right now, and so for me it was Crohn's disease, but it's just everybody's got something that I don't want to say defines them, but everybody's dealing with something that somebody else has dealt with before, or somebody else could use advice for.
Yep.
And especially with us on this platform that we have, we're very fortunate to be able to reach so many people and hopefully affect those people. So that's really why I wanted to get my story out there, and why I encourage so many people to get their story out there, is because somebody's going through the same thing that you are, and that's actually what made me realize I could play in the NBA. Was I don't know if you remember the name David Garrard. He was a quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right when I got diagnosed, I went to Google and looked up if there was any athletes that had Crohn's, and David's name popped up, and so that kind of made me realize, like, really, you can do that with Crohn's, and so, like, all right, it's very cool. And so David kind of started my belief in that, and now I'm just trying to carry that on for him.
Right. It's incredible what just sharing something that you can relate with will do for somebody. I think I've shared this story with you before. When Jake Diekman, when he reached out about doing a shirt, this is probably 5-6 years ago now. I was completely uneducated on Crohn's or colitis. Like, once I started talking with him and learning about it, I started realizing, like, oh my gosh, that's what those commercials are. I've never really paid attention to it because I never really heard of it or known about it. And once I really started to learn about it, once he launched that campaign, and all of a sudden these stories start rolling in, like, I never had any idea how many people were impacted by it. It's like 1 million people in the U.S. alone, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. It's 1.6 in the U.S. alone, and I kind of discovered the same thing when I put my story out there. Like, we had like 2 neighbors that were like, "Hey, what? That's crazy!
Yeah.
My son has it, or my dad has it, or I have it." So it's kind of crazy that, like, I didn't even tell my girlfriend then, current wife. I told her a few months into our relationship after the story came out that, like, I have Crohn's. That's why I have to go to the hospital. She's like, "Oh no, that's crazy. My dad has Crohn's."
Oh, wow.
And so, like, it was just something that it's not a pretty thing to talk about. It's not a pretty thing to share, and for people to really know. But at the same time, like, it is a very real thing that a lot of people are dealing with. 1.6 million Americans. So, those 1.6 are my 1.6. So I'm just trying to help them as much as I can.
And your story connecting with one person, that's what was so cool about, like, when Jake's campaign initially started, the very first story that I heard was within the first 48 hours that his shirt launching on Athlete's Brand. And this mom reaches out on Facebook and says, "Hey, I just wanted to get this message to Jake to thank him because my daughter got diagnosed with Crohn's when she was in middle school. And she loved softball, grew up playing softball, but she figured that she couldn't play softball anymore when she got into high school. So she stopped playing because she didn't think she could play with a J pouch."
Right.
She's a senior now in that message. She goes, it's her senior year. And because she saw that Jake made it to the major leagues, that he has one, and at that time he had it, and she goes, she's trying out for the softball team for the first time. And it's like just knowing that somebody is at a level higher than you, somebody that you can look up to, just being able to realize that, oh my gosh, it is possible to do something, can literally change somebody's life like in an instant, you know, just hearing about it, not having to study it, not having to know who you are, just hearing that that it's possible to change somebody's life. So imagine how many people have heard like about you and what you're dealing with that have never reached out. How many people are impacted that have never even told you? Like I can only imagine how many people have reached out to you, but the numbers are astronomically higher that are impacted, that their life's been changed, that haven't reached out, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like you don't know. And so, you know, if there are people that don't respond to the story online or people that don't message you on Instagram, that doesn't mean your message isn't getting out there.
Right.
It's, you know, just, you know, I wasn't comfortable talking about it, you know, for a long time. And so, yeah, like you just said, you don't know how many people it's reaching, but, you know, just the fact that, you know, you're getting out in front of it and, you know, putting your story out there, you know, for people to, you know, to be inspired by or to take advice from if they're so looking for it is that's just the most important part in my opinion.
No, I appreciate you and appreciate Noah for running Athletes versus Crohn. It's amazing what you guys are doing. I want to ask you one more thing before we get close to wrapping up here. I want to ask you about your love for soccer. So you said you played growing up.
Yeah.
I see you going overseas all the time. I know I see you on FIFA. So how did you connect with European soccer? Where did that passion come from?
So yeah, I mean, you said it right. I literally love soccer. Like it's very comparable in terms with basketball. Yeah, I for this. And I grew up playing it. I grew up playing. I played soccer from first, second grade through until I got sick, really. So until about seventh, eighth grade years when I stopped, and I love that sport. I think it's the most beautiful sport played, I just think it's the most beautiful sport played in the world. It's great. So I got in the NBA, and you know, not many people were talking about soccer. Not many people like soccer in the NBA. It was kind of originally thought of as kind of like a, you know, pretty, you know, the field fairies and all that stuff, you know, just all the, you know, the flopping. Yeah, that is that. But now in the NBA, we do the same thing.
Right.
And so, you know, I just gotten my favorite soccer player his name was Eden Hazard. It's still my favorite soccer player. He played for Chelsea at the time, and you know, I just followed him on Twitter. You know, just no big deal. I didn't mention him or anything like that, and he followed me back, and so it was like, what? You know, this guy knows who I am, and so you know, we messaged a few times, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, yeah, I'm a big basketball fan. A lot of us are over here in England. Like, you know, we love basketball. And so that just kind of took me by surprise. And so I started, you know, reaching out to more players, you know, more guys that I looked up to, just kind of like, man, I think what they do is so cool just because I can't do it. You know, kind of found there was a level of mutual respect. Like, I love that sport because I can't. I think it's so cool because I can't do it. They love basketball because they can't, like, that's something that they can't do. And so, you know, there's just a level of mutual respect when you go over there and meet these guys. And so my favorite team being Chelsea, I've been over there probably 5 or 6 times now, just meeting and interacting with players, watching games. You know, just that's something that, you know, when basketball is done, you know, a lot of guys say like they want to continue in coaching or continue with something in basketball. I want to somehow I want to go into the realm of soccer. Cool. I don't know how, but whether it's ownership of a team at some level, whether it's broadcast, I have no idea, but I would love to be involved with soccer for the rest of my life. I love that sport.
So the name of the podcast is Success at Success. And I started about 4 years ago. It was based off of the commercials from the Kobe system. And where it says at the next level, success at success at success. And so talking about success, like looking at where you're at right now, you've got Athletes versus Crohn's, you've made it to the NBA. Those are big achievements. Those are high achievements. Those are ranks of success. And you're looking at maybe that next step after your career. You know, where would you be able to look at your next step as far, not just giving away, here's my plans or anything like that, but where would you be able to look at that next level of success being? Would it be career-wise? Would it be getting into soccer? Is there something within your home that you're trying to work on, that you're trying to figure out? Is there something right now where you feel like this is my next big goal, and it doesn't have to be basketball related?
Yeah. So I actually like the way you worded that question, because it's, you hear like, what's your next plan of success? And like, at the end of the day, we're still like, athletes are still people, right? So like, there's such thing as success at the job, which is what people think of us as. It's like, I'd love to make an all-star game or that type of thing. But like, for me, like, I've got things that, I'm married. We just bought a house, all that stuff. So like, that right there is a level of success in itself. So I like the way you worded that question. So for me, I would say the next level of success, like, got to be starting a family. I mean, I've been married for 2 years now, and I know my wife is sitting here listening and cracking up, and so probably that's got to be the next level.
Awesome, very cool. You have any plans for that?
No. I think you can imagine the plan. The plans of that are fun.
Oh man, I don't want to know the details, but
no.
But no, man, that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, that in terms of life, there's that, and then just basketball. Like you said, for me, it's pretty simple. Just get back to winning. I want to get back to the playoffs.
Awesome. How is Cleveland looking in the near future? Do you feel? I know you've got to say that you feel promising and all this stuff, but
we had a rough year. We had a very rough year. It was we had 3 19-year-olds playing big minutes for us and all that. So I'm excited for next year. They all showed huge promise, and so next year is another year older. They'll be more mature and ready to play against the men in the NBA. I actually feel really good about where we're at. We halfway through the year, we had a coaching change, which I think is working out for the best for us. And if we can, hang on to some of these guys here, Kevin Love, big summer coming up for him, Tristan Thompson, Andre Drummond, so we got some big time names, some big time players, and we just got to focus on keeping them happy in here.
Absolutely. So last question. I love the way the athletes think, because you guys are able to put things into goals. You're able to see things at the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And so if you're looking at kids right now, like young athletes, it doesn't even have to be athletes really, just young people that are in this situation right now where it's kind of scary, when you don't know what's going on. Coronavirus has got the country basically on lockdown. You got California, Arizona, or New York, Ohio. When they're trying to build their goals, when they're trying to chase their own dreams, their own views of success, and you've got this sort of shadow of doubt hanging over you. You've got facilities, gyms being taken away. You can't go to the gym. You can't go hit in the batting cages. Like all these things that disrupt that day-to-day life. You don't know how long it's going to last. If it lasts through August, is what they're saying. What would you say, as far as from a mental standpoint, that they should keep in mind, that they should be able to focus on during these times that will allow them to continue to get better?
For me, it's sports. And I can only really speak for basketball, but with basketball, and I think for all sports, the mental side of things is just as big, if not as more important as the physical. And that was actually an adjustment that I had to make this year is just a change in mindset. I had a rough December and kind of came out. I switched my mindset. Came into the next month. It's like, all right, you know what? I've really got to, because you can't during the season, you can't work out too much because it's just taxing and whatnot. So you just got to flip a switch and for me it was a lot of, which sounds silly, is a lot of like like almost mental reps kind of. So like it's just, it's almost like daydreaming kind of. Like for me, I would just envision myself like, all right, last game, what did I do? All right, well, I had the ball in the post. I saw Kevin in the corner, but I really could have turned over my right, and just kind of like turned to my right shoulder so I could take the hook shot, and just kind of like imagine these scenario. For me, was being more aggressive, and imagine these scenarios of like, all right, place myself in a game, and the shot clock's at 14. I've got the ball at the top. Instead of looking to swing it to the next side, let me go create and make something happen. So, while you can't work out, and I couldn't at that time, and it's the same thing right now, while I can't work out, like, I think the biggest thing is just kind of, what is gonna take your game to the next level. And for a lot of people, it's hey, I've got to be a better shooter, I've got to be a better passer, I've got to be a better whatever. But like you can, there's a physical side of working on that, but at the same time, there's a mental side of trying to, gear yourself towards implementing that. And it's for me, that's the biggest thing. Is just kind of the mental reps of it right now. Obviously, the physical, you can't really get to the gyms and all that stuff, but watching film or just kind of, it sounds simple, just daydreaming of it, but like setting goals of like, oh yeah, next year I want to average 4.5 assists a game. All right, well, how are you going to do that? And that's not something physical that you can do right now, but you can say like, all right, let me go watch some film, or go watch clips of our games, or go, all right, hey, when I'm driving left, I got to be able to look back over my right shoulder and see if where my defender is in relation to where my so. I think right now it's definitely a different time for athletes, but at the same time, it opens a whole lot up in terms of the world of like mental preparedness.
Right. Do you have a training exercise that anybody's ever taught you that really helps with that?
Not really. For me, it was just kind of myself. And it took me a few years to develop it. I mean, I played in the league. This was my 5th year, and I played that long without really looking to score. That just wasn't something that I was really good at defense. I could really jump, really be athletic. I could really defend. But until January this year, when I kind of flipped the switch mentally and started being more aggressive and looking to score a little bit more, and it's just kind of something that I've kind of taught myself, and it's something that I think is a very, very valuable asset for any athlete.
Awesome. Well, Larry, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate sharing that and talking about your foundation. It's amazing what you do. Thank you for that. Go enjoy your time with your family. Stay healthy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right. Talk to you later.